love, love, love. This passage is all about love and how we as God's children are called to love one another. I don't think it gets any clearer. That's the main point here. Children of God should love one another. But let's go ahead and read. We are on day 3 of 1 John chapter 3, and we're beginning today in verse 11. For this is the message that you have heard from the beginning, that we should love one another. We should not be like Cain, who was of the evil one and murdered his brother. And why did he murder him? Because his own deeds were evil and his brother's righteous. Oh, do not be surprised, brothers, that the world hates you. We know that we have passed out of death into life because we love the brothers. Whoever does not love abides in death. Everyone who hates his brother is a murderer, and you know that no murderer has eternal life abiding in him. All right, friends, well, this is obviously just a continuation of this whole chapter. Some of this sounds so familiar to day 1. Some of it sounds so familiar to yesterday. I mean, okay, for day 1, do not be surprised, brothers, that the world hates you. That takes us back, clearly takes us back to day 1. All right, but let's just put today's passage in context and remember where it is we left off yesterday in verse 10. Let's read that on the previous page. By this it is evident who are the children of God and who are the children of the devil. Whoever does not practice righteousness is not of God, nor is the one who does not love his brother. All right, and if we remember yesterday's passage, well, in that passage, John really compared and contrasted the children of God versus the children of the evil one, or as he said yesterday, the devil. All right, he gave us a good compare and contrast and ended up there in verse 10 that those who are children of the devil do not practice righteousness, they are not of God, and they do not love their brother. So he goes on today to say, for this is the message that you have heard from the beginning. Stop right there. We've heard this before. And that takes us back to chapter 1, where John says this. This was verse 5 in chapter 1. This is the message we have heard from him and proclaimed to you, that God is light and in him is no darkness at all. And then moving on to chapter 2, verse 24, John says, let what you have heard from the beginning abide in you. If what you heard from the beginning abides in you, then you too will abide in the Son and in the Father. All right, what was that message that we heard from the beginning? Remembering that message is just the content or the contents of a communication. Well, friends, that message is the good news of Jesus Christ, that Christ has manifested the love of God, right? That takes us back to the beginning of this letter. Jesus Christ, John heard him, saw him, what was the word that John, he was amazed by him. That's not the word that John uses. John was able to touch him. Jesus Christ was this manifestation of God's love. And that's the message that was heard from the beginning. If that message of love, John says, abides in you, then you too will abide in the love of the Son and the Father. All right, I kind of changed that just a pinch. So here we are. John goes back to the idea of this message, and he's saying, look, people, you have known this message from the very beginning, and we have to ask, okay, John, what is the message? And John simply says that we should love one another. Love one another. We see the word love here 3 times in this passage. To love is to care for, it's to have great affection and loyalty to someone. All right. John learned this from Jesus, friends, and the cross reference is found in John, the Gospel of John, chapter 13, verse 34, Jesus says this, "A new commandment I give you, that you love one another. Just as I have loved you, you also are to love one another." See the abiding effect of love for the children of God. We're all linked together by God's love, Jesus's love, and our love for one another. This is what unites our hearts together. Love, love, love. All right, so what do I want to say? Oh, I just made a note too about love, and this came from day one of this week. Remembering that love, I think John was talking about children of God, they're going to look like their Father, right? They're going to look like their Father, and God is love. And this idea that love is evidence of new birth. Love is evidence of being fathered by God the Father through Jesus the Son and becoming his child. Then we will bear the fruit of love. Jesus said this in Matthew 7:16, "You will know them by their fruits. Are grapes gathered from thorn bushes? No. Are figs gathered from thistles? No." Okay, so Jesus says clearly, you will know them by their fruit. And friends, love is evidence of being a child of God. I think the application is pretty easy. Here's cause for a heart check. Oh Lord, am I bearing the fruit of love? Search me and know me. Children of God should love one another. All right, now just to unpack this a little bit further and unpack John's compare and contrast from yesterday, I think we can continue on. We learn a little bit more about what a child of God looks like and what a child of the evil one looks like. It's not pretty. It's not pretty for the child of the evil one or the devil. All right, they murder his brother, and John uses Cain as an example. That was interesting, and John goes on to say that children of the devil, their own deeds are evil, just like Cain's deed was evil. He murdered his brother Abel. Children of the devil are worldly. We see that. Do not be surprised, brothers, that the world hates you. All right. And that word surprise, friends, that's an imperative command. Do not be surprised. Do not be caught off guard that the world will hate you. There's some interesting cross references there. Children of the devil abide in death. They hate their brother. They are murderers. All right. Not pretty. Not pretty. Now, what else do we learn about the children of God? Well, they are not to be like Cain. Verse 12, we should not be like Cain, who is of the evil one. Their deeds are righteous, like Abel. The world hates them. They enjoy life. Verse 14, John says, we know that we have passed out of death into life because we love the brothers. We have passed out of death. That's a condemnation for sin, and passed into life. How? Because of the propitiation for sins that we receive from Jesus Christ. All right, and we enjoy life eternal. We've talked about that. This everlasting life. This abundant life, this life that is full of vitality and healthiness and happiness and joy everlasting. And friends, we know we have this if we love our brothers and sisters, if we love. Once again, main point, children of God, love one another. Oh, let us have hearts united with God's heart of love.